I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap
You don't want
circles
no
around.
smoke. He enjoying that 150 million, 200 million. He done
Okay
made.
then, so then leave me alone while I'm on the field.
You was effing with him. He wasn't bothering you.
They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them though.
Jim Jones was never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bird Gang. But we not about to start rewriting history because Jim Jones got confidence.
Jim Jones went on Shannon Sharpe's podcast.
But all that admiration, yeah, it flipped quick. Everything changed when Jim popped up on Fat Joe and Jadakiss' podcast, and you already know, Joe couldn't help but stir things up.
Like that. I had called you about it and things like that. That was like still one of the people that I never got to have a conversation throughout my history of rap and things like that. I think I would love to have a conversation with Nas. I wouldn't know if he knows it, but Nas was one of my all-time favorite rappers coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that. Like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody else.
But
that moment alone could have just died online, but nah. Jim wasn't letting it slide. He leaned all the way into it. I admired Nas. He said, back when I was in 11th grade and he dropped a barbecue, he was my idol. From the wordplay to the fits, I was a full-blown Nas fan. But once he got in the game, he said rivals turn into idols. He found his own style, built his own lane, and now, the new generation rides with him the same way he once rode for Nas. Then came the wild part. Jim dropped one of the most disrespectful takes in recent hip-hop memory. These kids love me, he said. They don't even really know Nas. Not all of them, but enough. And with that, Jim didn't just call himself more relevant, he crowned himself more influential than Nas Queensbridge, Nas Illmatic, Nas MSG, Nas and Jim. He wasn't backing off. He meant that.
No Diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and and I'm not taking nothing away from nobody, but I hear the comparisons and then be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this about the industry. I've been putting on.
That interview,
it didn't just shake the table, it flipped the whole thing and lit it up. Before anyone could even catch their breath, Jim was back. This time on Shannon Sharpe's Nightcap with Chad Johnson, and instead of walking anything back, he doubled down again. Shannon came straight at him too.
Jim, you smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit.
but what he said next made fans actually pause the episode.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that bullshit.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit run.
But just when
you thought Jim was done stacking hot takes, he brought up the old Dipset versus a Nas tension from the 2000s. He said, yeah, he was a Nas fan, a big one. But now he's surpassed him in terms of street impact. He tried to sweeten it up by calling Nas a fashion icon, one of the flyest to ever do it, but kept circling back to one thing. Nas doesn't move the streets like Jim does.
I'm second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
ain't no shame in that. There a lot of old folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that.
Shannon wasn't having it.
Bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. I
can be in the church house. You can't F with Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas.
Meanwhile,
Then Jim took it personal. Even started roasting Shannon's outfit. Bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds crying cause I said I'm better than Nas. Look at you. Shannon clapped back. Ain't nobody choosing you over Nas. Not even Dipset is picking you. Jim kept pushing. Check my stats. I'm rapping better than Nas right now. I'll run laps around him, Saturn laps. Then it really popped off. Jim accused Shannon of bringing him on just for views, and Shannon exploded. This the biggest podcast you've ever been on. Name one bigger. Go ahead. Suddenly, Shannon turned into more than a host. He got in the ring with Jim because when Jim said he was better than Nas, Shannon wasn't just defending Nas's pen. He was ready to put his body on the line too.
Buy a bag of your clothes, big fella. You too big, man.
You talk about you in the gym. Now you want to get me? You want me to see me in the gym?
Oh, we could do that.
Since you like to talk that ish, now come see me in the gym.
We talking about
Come
working
see
out.
me in the gym.
We talking about working out or strength.
Working
What we
out.
talking about? Working out or strength?
Work however you want to do it.
We talking about
Since you got money,
if we talking about
put your
working out,
money
I
where your
burn
mouth
you.
is.
So you talking about working
Run
out, I
them
burn
stacks.
you. You talking about working out, I burn you. You talking about working out or strength? Because you probably can lift a lot more than me.
Whatever.
You're bigger than me. You're probably stronger than me.
Whatever.
But if you talk about working out, I burn you.
This ain't what you do. This ain't what you want. You are doing good when you talk about Nas and Jada. You don't want to see this.
Instead of firing
And instead of coming at 50 directly, Jim tried to pivot, flexed his way into a gym challenge, daring Shannon to test strength instead of bars. But while Jim was busy trying to lift his relevance, 50 had already made his silent move. That one quiet post, that one label still hanging in the background, it said everything. The internet was wilding. A retired NFL Hall of Famer stepping up for Nas like that. The fans went nuts. One commenter wrote, "Shannon did what Fat Joe and Jada should have done. Jones, you trippin' Shannon, thank you." Because real talk, why were they so silent during their interview? Meanwhile, 50 was still in the shadows, and he wasn't laughing. Just when folks thought it couldn't get messier, it went full petty. That's when the old clip resurfaced.
Like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. Even so nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about Jim? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, I'm like, yo. The thing used to have so nervous was like B.I.G., Pop, right? Even Cannabis, like Eminem, used to have you like, if we go at it, dog, we gotta go hard. You know what I'm saying? But these Jim Jones, like, I respect you getting your money. You're like, exactly, right?
That right there, that's top tier disrespect. Jim didn't just get ignored by Nas back in the day, he got laughed off the stage. And in 2025, that same humiliation is circling right back. But it didn't stop there. While Nas stayed cool and Shannon kept hitting the gym, someone else was lurking in the background. The second 50 Cent caught wind of Jim's better than Nas claim. He didn't even react. He just smirked, went straight to his endless stash of petty receipts, and revived one of the most explosive rumors in hip-hop history. He called Jim Individual One. One little caption and the internet lost it. Because if you know, you know. Individual One isn't just a nickname, that's a federal label. Pulled straight from a Tekashi 6ix9ine in wiretap. In 2018, during the 9 Trey trial, prosecutors played a call they claimed featured Jim Jones. He wasn't named in court, just labeled Individual One. In that call, someone was allegedly giving orders to put hands on Tekashi for switching. Sides Jim's voice was never confirmed. And he was never charged, but that didn't stop the streets. The blogs, and especially 50 from holding on to that moment. And now that Jim's talking loud on podcasts, trying to bait Nas into a response, 50 found the perfect excuse to jog everybody's memory. He went deep into his IG vault and reposted that infamous meme, the one that said, "So that's why they ain't pull him in. Say it ain't so, Jimmy." Throw it back to 2019 when the Shade Room posted a court update. A verified reporter said Tekashi named Jim as a 9 Trey member. 50 couldn't resist jumping in. That's when the viral clip of 50 looking shook started making rounds.
Out in Texas, please, whatever you do, don't tell them I'm in San Antonio. Don't tell them I'm staying at the Four Seasons. Don't tell them, please don't tell them, because there's just so much pressure on me right now. I don't know what to do.
He literally posted, "I'm scared for my life." I mean, Jimmy is gang. The internet had a field day. But Jim, he was tight. And here's where things take a sharp turn, because this Nas drama, it wasn't the root of 50's beef. With Jim, this has been simmering for years. This was just the opening 50 needed to reignite it all. Back in 2007, 50 caused chaos by bringing Jim and Joel Santana on stage during a G-Unit concert right in the middle of Dipset's internal fallout. Cameron took that as pure disrespect. Then again in 2019, during Tekashi's trial, Jim's name got tied to the Individual One label on a wiretap. No charges ever came, but the internet ran with the snitch rumors. Jim saw every single post from 50 and at first he stayed silent. He dropped a throwback Bird Gang photo drenched in Dipset nostalgia with a caption, "Why you keep lying? LOL. I'm going back to sleep. Free Male Matrix." That was a shot, a reminder of 50's spinning fiction. Free Male Matrix refers to Jim's homie doing over 11 years on racketeering. But Jim didn't stop there. He posted another Jim video, this time calling out Shannon Sharpe directly. Don't start ducking now. You said it on camera, now walk the talk. My sneakers already tied, and Chad Ochocinco, he jumped in too, said Shannon wants to keep it private. Jim wasn't having it. As long as you're the witness, we don't duck no challenges. Size don't matter, let's run it. While 50 kept trolling quietly, Jim geared up like it was go time, and then came the final blow. Another post. If you 40 plus and arguing with me about NAS, you already lost. Y'all took the bait. My streams spike every time y'all go viral. I'm schooling the old heads in marketing. Y'all stuck in the past mad about how the game works today. Tighten up. Then he dropped the mic. I said what I said. P.S. I'll wrap circles around any rapper from my era. If you dare step in the booth, bring a bag. This game ain't free. We outside, we working. Meanwhile, Nas still silent. Jim still baiting, still calling himself the more influential one. If Nas ever did reply, it wouldn't be a diss, it'd be a lyrical massacre. And fans, they're not buying Jim's flex.
Ever brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally, it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening, bro.
Right now,
Jim's still poking the bear. Nas is still quiet. And 50, he's still pulling strings from the dark. If that unreleased wiretap really exists, Jim might have just talked himself into something way deeper than a rap battle. Cause while Jim's out here flexing, talking heavy, and trying to prove he's still that guy, 50's been silent, way too silent. And when 50 goes quiet, that's when the trapdoor opens. So now the question is, will Nas step in and end this with a lyrical nuke, or will 50 let the streets drop the truth once it's too late to clean it up?